Well, I'm super excited to be sitting down with some new friends. These are the Mirtas. I'm going to let you say your last name better because I am not from Albania. So I cannot say it properly. But we have Gezim and Leanne with us today, and we're going to hear all about their ministry in Albania. So let's start by having you say your name the correct way.
Yeah, my name is Gezim and my last name is Myrte and I'm Albanian.
Yeah.
You could see why I can't quite say it the right way.
Yes. Yeah. Even I don't totally say it exactly right because we don't even have that letter in English. The Y, which is U, like an U sound. So we're murte. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you, Gazim, you said you're from Albania. Leanne, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Illinois, from the Chicago suburbs.
Wow. And how did you meet?
We met 12 years ago in one of the city in the Middle East. So I went to work there. Leanne was there, and so we met for Christmas breakfast in 2012.
Okay. And the rest is history.
Yes.
All right. And so you're now in Albania and you have been for how long ministering there together?
So we went in Albania in December 2019. So 4.5 years
Okay.
that we have been in Albania.
Okay, great. And children?
Yeah, we have 4. We have 2 girls who are 8 and 7 and 2 boys who are 4 and 3.
Oh, that's perfect. But man, you have your
Yes.
hands full.
Yes, we do.
Wonderful. And they traveled home with you this time?
They did. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. And how long are you here in the States?
We're here for about 7 weeks. So this is
Nice.
we're leaving a week from today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, I know I've seen you around at church and you got to share at a missions lunch yesterday. We just want to give a chance for you to share with the rest of the church and anybody who might be tuning into the chapel on our website. We just want to hear all about your ministry. So we're going to jump right in. I'm just going to let you tell us where you're located in Albania so that we can get a generalized idea of where we're talking about, and then let you unpack for us what God is having you do there.
Mm-hmm. You want to start?
Yeah, so we are in in border with Greece in Albania. It's the area that I grow up. It's a small area that it's about probably 25,000 people that live. So, and the way that it's structured is a town with 44 village, and so we have been living there since about four years. But also it's an area that I grow up. So the village that I grow up with, the place where we live, it's about 10 minutes driving. So 5 miles away. That my parents are still there.
I was going to say you still have
Yeah.
family there then.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work with a local church there. The church has been in Albania or in that area for 30 years already. So it started shortly after the fall of communism. So it's always been our dream to get to work alongside a local church. And so we work with our church. We both work in the ministries within the church and also help our church to think about how to reach the community um, evangelistically and also in terms of the practical needs because it's a struggling community in a lot of ways. It's a rural area that a lot of people are trying to leave. Albania has many people that are leaving, I mean, by the thousands and thousands every year, just because the economy never really bounced back after communism. So it's a struggling place and a lot of people are, immigrating out. And so, there's the people who are in our community, you really struggle with employment and, just making life work. There's a lot of corruption and just a lot of issues that, so we're trying to help our church think through ways to bring transformation, gospel transformation into the community in a holistic way.
Great. So no longer communist.
No longer.
Yeah. So Albania since 1991, the communism fell. So now we are in democracy. Albania is open, not like it used to be in the communism. Actually, in the communism, our dictator decided to close Albania, and we were one of the first country to be declared the atheist country, and the dictator destroyed all of the other religion building. But since the communism fell, now it's free. You can believe whatever you want, and actually, you see the church present in all of the city in Albania, and the bigger city have more than one, but also small city like in the area that we work. It's a church that has established since 1994. So we just celebrated the 30 years that the church
Wonderful.
has been there. So
Is there a predominant religion now in Albania?
It's about 2/3 Muslim, and about a third Orthodox and some Catholic and some evangelical.
Okay.
It's still about, I think, under 1% evangelical. But people in Albania generally, because it was atheist for so long, um, know that their grandparents were either Christian or Muslim, but in general don't practice their religion. People are very warm to the idea of
Mm.
God and believing in God, but um, you know, for the most part, people know that their grandparents were a certain religion, but don't necessarily practice that
Mm.
on a daily basis, although it varies from person to person.
So that must make having conversations about things maybe a little bit, there's some inroads there where maybe you're able to tap into maybe the history behind where y'all have been as a country to now, I would guess.
Hmm.
How
yeah.
do you, sorry, go
So
ahead.
no, no, yeah. You sorry, you can
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
was just wondering how that works that is so different to come out of that. And so as you said, you're working with the church
Hmm.
in the community,
Hmm.
pulling people into coming to church. Is that a challenge? Are people generally somewhat interested, or are they closed off to it?
I would say people in general are very warm to spiritual things, to God. Like, um, I would say that the challenge in Albania is that is a little bit similar to in the U.S.,
Mm,
where people kind of are very tolerant and are, which is a good thing, but
mm,
also struggle to say this is true. There's one way and that this is true. I think people are very content to say
mm.
like, "Hey, as long as we all believe in God and we try to be good people, we're all good."
Yeah,
And so they're helping people take those next steps beyond just a general belief in God is probably where the challenge lies.
yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But people are open. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. For most of the time people are open for sure, and also we say that we work for the church, but actually we are part of the one organization that called One Collective. But
Mhm.
it's been our desire that since we kind of felt the call to go back to Albania, that we wanted to work closely with the local church. We didn't want it to do our work just by ourselves or with some other people, but we wanted to work with the church that is established
Mm.
and are like mind to seek the kingdom. But has been good working with the local church that close. Actually, the way that people know us there, and we present ourselves that we work with the church,
Mhm.
even though we work with another organization.
Brilliant.
It's
Yeah,
and
Yes.
both are true. We're sent
yeah,
by an organization to work with the
Well, yes,
local
and the
church.
local
Yeah.
church. I mean, that makes total sense.
yeah,
There's a fire already started there. You putting your logs
yeah,
on that
Yeah.
fire.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Tell us about kind of some of your main targeted focus of ministry.
Yeah. So I personally do a lot of work with kids and junior high age people in a couple of the villages. So we live in the main town of Bilisht, and there's 44 villages in our region that we consider our area that we want to reach. And so the church has always been in the main town, and the people in the villages have always had to travel if they wanted to come to church. And most people in our area don't have cars, so they have to rely on some kind of transportation from somebody else to get to
Mm.
church. And then also in villages, most of the people in our region would have animals and farms, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not that easy to
Agriculture.
just like leave your cows for the
Mm.
day and come to church. And so, um, one dream that we have is that in the future that there will be churches in many of the villages.
Mm.
so that it's not just a model of the people from the villages needing to travel into the main town to come to the church.
Makes sense.
So, one thing that we're doing in a couple of different villages right now is starting with some kid and youth outreach.
Mm.
So, we have in one of the villages a we call it a Christian community center. And so we run programs there it's almost like an Awana club for kids, like with activities and Bible stories and verses. So kids love to come to that. There's not a lot of activity going on for kids in the villages, so usually it's quite a popular event for
I
kids.
bet.
They really enjoy it, and we love getting to reach these kids with the message of Jesus for the first time.
Mhm.
And then there's also a junior high age program that's a little bit more focused on games and then some discussion about God and about the Bible. And then there's also some of our coworkers from the church who run an adult Bible study as well. And so we hope that with through the community center, we also want to reach out to people in need in that community in the village.
Mm.
And so we do a Gezim particularly focuses a little bit more on that aspect of helping people who just are in need in different ways, elderly or struggling financially. And
Maybe more like
Yeah.
care ministries
Yeah.
type of.
So one of the vision and desire that we have for the area and for the church is to see gospel transformation, that we can see individual that will be changing by the gospel, but also we want to see community changing by the gospel. And because of the gospel, and one of my involvement is that, so I'm part of the leadership team in the church, but also part of the leadership group, that mercy ministry, that we will help people in the town village, but also in the village surrounding. And so also we have a small community of Roma people or Gypsy, and so we will advocate for them. Also we will uh, go with them where things are not going, and trying how can we help, how can we be light and salt for the community that God has given to us. And also I'm involved in the youth, and we usually have in the church men's Bible study, and so different activity that I'm a little also involved with the local government, and trying how can we work as a community, and because they do for the community, we want to be blessed for the community, so how can we bring those together without corrupting the gospel or negligence in the gospel. So yeah, working for that to see gospel transformation.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have those moments where you can see hope kind of infused? Because it sounds like, you have a video. I think it's going to be posted on our website as well, and it does a nice job of kind of painting a picture of kind of what kind of feels like a kind of hopeless little area,
Mhm.
but so much hope being infused by the ministries that you have there. Do you get to feel that? Are you seeing God's
Mhm.
work,
Yeah,
yeah, come to fruition?
yeah.
I can say the village and you can say the teacher, but
Sure.
the some of the way that we see God that is working is, so we do village ministry, and we try to go in couple village and see what God is working and doing there. And usually when we have groups from the States, or there is a torchbearer school there, that they will send some student 2 times in the year, and we usually would like to go in the place that we as a church haven't been able to go.
Mm.
And so last year we were able to go in some new village doing the kids ministry, and during those time of the activity that we were doing, there was somebody in the village that they live in Greece, but she have come to visit her family and spend some time with the family. And so when she heard that, oh, a church is coming to do activity for the kids, so she came and saw. And after the kids, after the program, she came and approached some of us and told that, hey, I am sharing with my family. So they are about maybe 3 or 4 brothers who live very close together. And for the last 2 or 3 weeks that she was visiting the family, she have been sharing Christ with them. And so some of the people were very open, and some of them probably became believer. And but she told us that, hey, so I will be here for a couple more weeks. I would like to bring them in the church, but it's any way that you guys can take it over after I go, because I see that God is working in my family and all of that. And so we as a church have been able. So the person who told us that, so now they live in Greece, she went back, but the church have been able to go do some visit with the families there. We have start a Bible study with the ladies and also with some of the kids there, and our hope is that we will be more present in that village. And usually what it means for us is that maybe we can rent a place and we can be more present, go every week and do either Bible study or kids program, or helping the people in need, or just trying to see how can we let God lead us in how can we minister in the village that we are going.
I love that. Clearly, you are letting the Holy Spirit go before you and lead you. That's a
Mhm.
great example of how you can't make that up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
God made that happen.
totally.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and I have another story that's
Yeah.
giving us hope is has to do with some teachers who are on a journey together towards Christ. And that's another thing that we couldn't have made up.
Mm.
It's like, or we couldn't have made happen on our own.
Sure.
So it's a long story, but there's a few Christian teachers in our church. And so we formed a group with some of their friends, and um, it started out as a little bit more of like a personal development kind of a group where they were, we started meeting outside the church in a cafe, and at one point we started to discuss a topic of like, what is the foundation of your life, and that gave one of the teachers an opportunity to share how Jesus is the foundation of her life. And I think all the women in the group at that time really realized, wow, God is not the foundation of my life, but I want him to be. And so at that point, the women asked to start meeting at the church and asked to start studying the Bible together. And so the group transformed into a Bible study. So over the past 2 years now, we've been talking about Jesus. We've been talking about women of the Bible who God has touched, and then giving them a chance to share their stories with each other. And so they're all in different places. A couple of them just got baptized this month. Um, and some of them are already taking steps of in discipleship. Some of them are still questioning and trying to figure it out, but they're inviting friends, new people are coming, and it's just one of these things that God is doing, that we're just kind of along for the ride and
That's
able
so
to
great.
watch what's happening, which is
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. It's so cool to hear the structure of ministry not being something that we're going to do this and expect things to fit within that box, but that you're letting the Lord lead you wherever he may be working. So
Mhm.
wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
How are your kids doing? That's probably the only culture that they've ever known. So for them, it's not, they didn't live in the States and then off to Albania, correct?
N-
Yeah.
Our oldest daughters lived with us in the Middle East, but they were very little when we left for
Mm.
Albania, so they don't remember much. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Albania is basically all they
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Bilingual. Your kids are
Yes.
bilingual, I would
Yeah.
Yeah,
assume.
the,
Yeah.
the oldest one are they can speak, write, and read because they go in the public school. With the boys, we in the house we speak English, so the boys will know a couple words, but not yet. But we put them in the kindergarten, and so it's 3 years. So it's enough time that they can learn Albanian and be ready when the school start.
Yeah, that's
So,
great. That's great. Well,
yeah.
Gazim, I'm impressed. 12 years, that's how long you've spoken English, and you're speaking
Yeah.
English great.
Thank you.
How
Yeah.
is your
Thank
Albanian,
you.
Leanne?
It's I can do what I need to do,
Yeah.
thankfully, and
Yeah.
I'm able to like teach others and lead
Mhm.
discussions and do some different kids ministry and do
Yeah.
whatever I need to do. So
Do
yeah.
Albanians typically speak English as well, or not so
More
much?
in the big city, people will speak English, but in the area where we are, it's less people will know English. Even though the last couple years, so the government started a program that the kids will learn English since in the first grade. So probably after a couple years, we might have a different story. But I think for
Sure.
now, it's that less people than in the big city they
Yeah.
speaking.
Youth typically do like that.
Okay.
More high school, college age
Mhm.
tends to speak English fairly well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
about the language, I think Pastor Mitch will have a lot of story with me with language because he have experienced it from the beginning and
I'm
now.
sure he watched you all the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Well, let us know now, how can the chapel here in Washington State best support you in Albania in God's work that you're doing there? Could you give us some tangible ways? What's helpful? What's not helpful? Yeah, are there some specific needs that you might be facing before you? Yeah, I'll give you a chance to
Yeah.
share that.
Yeah, maybe I can start, but I just maybe it will not be enough time to express the thankful for the Camano Chapel for all of these years. And actually, when I came in the States 12 years ago, so I didn't have a language or other connection, but God used Camano Chapel to provide for my support that I can go in the Middle East, and God is still using Camano Chapel and the people who are members here to continue to support us. So we are so thankful for what God is doing through Camano Chapel to us and the ministry that God has made us part. So
Yeah, to
yeah.
me the community here has been a reflection of God's like lavish love and generosity towards us. Like it's, just because, I'm from a totally different area of the
Yeah.
country and then he's from another country and just the fact that the community so embraced him, and then us once we got married,
Mm.
um and has been such an enthusiastic
Mm.
base of support for us. It's just been huge for us. So to me, that's been just a little reflection of God's
Yeah.
goodness to us.
The kingdom of God is amazing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But if we go back to the question, I think first is if you guys will be in Europe and we'll have some more time, please come and visit us.
Mhm.
Or if
Visits boost us.
yeah, or
Yeah,
Come and
yeah,
yeah,
gives
come
you a
and see
good
what we're doing and
encouragement.
and then, share with others here, what it's
Mm.
like and it
yeah,
helps people kind of get a little more tangible
Yeah.
idea of
yeah,
what, a very different place is like.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
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 But and also we, because of where we are and what we do, we always have desire that the churches will come and participate in the ministry that what we do, either the VBS or maybe other project that it can be done for the village or for the city where we are. Currently, we have two projects that we are trusting God to provide in His ways, and one is that we want the local workers to be able to work full time and also to be part of what God is doing. And so we have been able the last 2 years to raise some support for them that they can work full time and they can be part of. We kind of work as a team with them, and that has been very good. And so we want to continue that ministry because so we have 44 village and the town where we are, so it's about 25,000 people. So we want to see God be glorified in all of those village. And one of the project that we have is that we want to raise some support support for them, that they can be full time. So even though the church has been for 30 years, so because of the economy, so the church in Albania is not able to support somebody who can work full times, but is able to kind of keep the church with the bills that the church will have normal. So that is one of the project, and the other one is the park. You want to?
Yeah, another very exciting thing that's going on is that so our church has a building, which we're very blessed because of that's not always the case in Albania. Across the street from our building, we have an open field that also belongs partially to the church, partially to the government, and so the local government has agreed to grant us use of the rest of that field to put in our town's first park, and so. Um, for us, we see this as a way that, people in a place that feel like they need to leave to have something good for their kids can have a little bit of hope that there are good things here too, and so the vision is that it would be like a kind of multi-generational space, like a place for older people to play games, playground for younger
Mhm.
kids, soccer, um,
Mhm.
low ropes course, like, things for school groups, and so we had an architect draw up a plan a couple of years ago. And yeah, so the paperwork and kind of approvals have finally come through. And so we're now at the phase of getting some of the early, drainage and trees and things put in. But
Sure, yeah.
yeah, but it's a big project, and if anyone would want to help with
Yeah.
some of the cost of that,
Yeah,
that's
that
also
sounds
a
and what a great way just to be in the community, putting yourself in proximity with
Mhm,
people in the community to share the good news.
mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for doing the Lord's work in Albania.
Yeah.
Yeah, we at the chapel love to partner with our missionaries all over the globe, and you're doing important work there. So, thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming home and sharing a little bit more about what's going on there.
Yeah.
And we continue to support you and pray for you as you do His work there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much to you guys as
Yeah,
well. We're so thankful for your partnership with us and for all of the encouragement.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, you can find out more information on the missions page at camanochapel.org.